Hey guys, Jaybird here. Today we are going to be continuing our weapons tutorial, and in this video we'll be covering the mystery box. The first section will show you how to get your own custom weapons into the box, and then I will show you how to remove existing weapons from the box, that is stock weapons, and finally we'll be going over a script that I'll provide down in the description to change the spinning models in the box. Alright guys, let's jump in it. Okay, so let's jump into this. So the first thing you want to do is kind of go into whatever map you're dealing with. So let's say, for instance, I'm dealing with my map Astra, which is kind of short for Kepler. So I'll go into my map folder here. So you can right click it and go open map folder. So if you go back to Black Ops 3 here and you go into share, raw, game data, weapons, ZM, you'll notice we have some more files in here. So I have this set as backup, but if you guys are coming in here first time, you guys won't have these two files in here. You'll have this one file. So I just kind of called it backup for now. But what you're going to want to do is copy this file and put it into your map folder. So copy that, and then you're going to want to come back to user maps, your map, and then game data. So you're going to have to create this folder. So you'll have to right click, create new folder, name it game data, create a new folder in that, call it weapons, create a new folder in that and call it ZM, and then paste that weapon or that CSV file that we just copied. So this is actually going to be a string of weapons. So I'll actually show you from the version that they have, because mine's completely edited right now. So we'll go into the game data again, weapons, ZM, and open up their version. So let's assume that you've opened up this version in your folder. Make sure it doesn't say backup like mine here, because it's just the old version, so I can go back to it if I need to. So you'll notice this is a list of every single weapon that is loaded into your map currently. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to change the weapons that are in the box or whatnot. You can actually open this, rather, instead of in a Notepad++, you can open it in Excel or any sort of table editing software. So I'm going to be using Excel for this. You can use anything off of Google Docs or whatever they have for their tools. Excel's just opening on my other window here. So with Excel open, what we can do is just to kind of view this a bit better, have the top left corner selected right here, and I'll select everything. And then what we're going to do is go Format, Autofill Column Width, and that'll just kind of fix everything for us. So if you can read through, everything's kind of in columns and you can see everything kind of lines up perfectly. So we have weapon name. So this is the weapon name that would be in APE. And then upgrade name, which is also the upgraded version of the gun, which you'd have in APE. So this would be your MR6, the pistol standard upgraded. Cost 50 because, it's not a wall weapon, but they just threw a cost in there. I don't know why it's 50. Weapon voiceover, so this is what the characters will say. So if you put pistol and they get it out of the box, they'll say a quote that's regarding a pistol weapon. If you put a rifle, they'll say a quote regarding the rifle or LMG or shotgun. You can use whatever ones that you find in here, but the characters will respond according to whatever type of voiceover you select. Not quite sure what this one is. It's obviously something to do with voiceover. Ammo cost. So by default, it's usually, I believe, half of what the weapon costs. So if you don't put anything here, it'll automatically do this for you, which usually is what you want to do. Just leave this one blank. But let's say, for instance, you were doing a grenade, you'd put 250 or whatever you want. You could override it and put whatever value you want here. This is how much the ammo is going to cost, not how much the wall buy is. This is how much the wall buy is. Create Vox is also a voiceover thing, not entirely sure what it's for. Obsolete false seems to be some sort of variable, I would assume, for something that's not supposed to be in the game. Here is where we get into some good stuff. In box, so this is a Boolean value. False means it's not in the box, which is usually used for a wall weapon or something else, like a grenade or something like the Bowie knife. So if it's true, then it will be put into the box. So make sure that you set this to true if you want it in the box, false if you want it for a wall weapon. Upgrade in the box. Typically you want this to be false because you don't want the upgraded version in the box. So I suggest, so your map's not overpowered or OP, keep this false for your safety and my safety. I don't want to be playing any maps that are OP. Is limited. So this is usually used in the case of a wonder weapon. So you'd set this to true, and you'll notice like the ones that have 1 here, if I follow this all the way over, it's the Tesla gun. So they set it to true and put it to 1. So that means if somebody gets out of the box, you can only get 1 of them. You could set this to 2, 3. If you set it to 4, then it doesn't really make any difference. But if you set it to 2, then you could get only 2 of this type of weapon out of the box. So usually they do that for wonder weapons and set it to 1. Upgrade limit, I'm assuming this would be if you set the upgrade in box. Then this would be the same idea as the limit. So obsolete 2, false, they have false for it. Not entirely sure what it's for, but I would just follow their standard and set it as well. Wall buy auto spawn. So pretty sure this has to do with the way that the wall weapons work, with the way that it's hidden and then it shows it to you. By default, they have a lot of them set to true, except for stuff that are, you usually get out of the box or something like that. So I'd set it to true if you're doing a wall weapon, false if you're doing a box spawn. Although some of their box spawn stuff, they have true as well. So, if it's a wall weapon, set it to true. Otherwise, I don't know if it really matters. Class. So this determines if it's a pistol, LMG, special weapon, whatnot. Pick whatever one's relative to whatever gun you're doing. Is AAT exempt? Not entirely sure what this is for, but I remember AAT having something to do with anims and anim tables, so not entirely sure. Maybe leave this blank because majority of this is blank. Is a wonder weapon. Kind of self-explanatory. They seem to only set true for if it is a wonder weapon and leave it blank if it's not. Okay, so that one's self-explanatory. And force attachments. So this is actually really cool. If you've set up your custom weapon to have attachments, you can put in that you want, when you grab the weapon out of the box, to have an attachment on it. So they actually did this to the FAMAS and MX Grand and whatnot, all the DLC weapons that you can't edit. So they forced them to have, red dot, grip, reflex sight, stalker, quick draw. So it's all relative to whatever you're selecting. And they did this because you can't really select your attachments. But say you're doing a custom weapon, you can't also select your attachments, you can do this as well. So all you're going to want to do is create a new line below with your weapon. If you don't want any of this stuff in the box, you can actually remove this stuff as well. So it's completely up to you. You could, like for me, I completely got rid of a whole bunch of this stuff because I'm making my own map with a lot of custom weapons. But if you just want to add weapons in, just fill out your own line and everything should be good. Alright, so that's going to be it for this part. What we're going to want to do so that the changes that you make are actually in your game is right click on your map, go edit zone file, and if you've got this set up, it should pop up with whatever editor you have. I have a tutorial for how to set up the defaults for this stuff, so I suggest you watch that. Or if you want to do it really quickly, you can just find your zone folder in user maps, your map name, zone, actually it's zone source, and then it's this zone file here. You're going to right click that, properties, and then just change this so it opens with whatever editor you're dealing with. I use Sublime, so mine opens with Sublime. So you're just going to want to add this one line, and I'm going to have the line down in the description below. But basically this line is so that it loads that weapon file CSV that we had. So it was in game data weapon ZM, and then that was the name of the file. So this will load our current one that we have in our mods folder. Once you've saved that and compiled, then your box and wall weapons updated stuff should work. Alright, so that's basically it for that file. Alright guys, so now the next step that we're going to want to do is we've got our guns in the box, but when you open the box, the models that are displaying rotating through the box are different than the ones that we had in the file. They're going to be set up predefined in some other code that I actually don't have access to, none of us do. So I actually had to make a script, which I'm going to include, this ZM client box script. So this is a client script, and basically what it's going to do is it's going to reset the box originally, and then it puts in the new weapons. So we have to override it by first resetting the box and then putting in the weapons that we want to include. So I have gone ahead and put in all the weapons that are currently in the box. Actually, this one, whoops, there we go. So that will be the version of the script that you will have. I've already tested this. I'm surprised I didn't get an error when I tested that, but probably because I didn't use that weapon at all. So, oh yeah, because it's the version that I used. I removed that stuff. Okay, so what we're gonna want to do is when you go into your map folder, give me a second here while I bring it up. You're basically going to want to match what you did for your weapons that are in the box, because it only makes sense to have weapons spinning in the box being the same weapons that you have in the box. So this is what I did for my test. So I went through and I removed all the weapons except for the MP40 PPSH and the dual-wield crossbows. So if you were to do the exact same thing, like let's say we went back and we actually have our version of the file that is still good and has all the weapons in it, this version here, what I did is I just went through and I'm like, okay, well I don't want any of this stuff, and I just went and delete and delete, and we just kind of got to the point that I'm at here. Actually, I removed a couple more weapons, but you get the idea. You can remove whatever ones you don't want, but since let's say for instance we had all these set to true and you had your version, let's say you made an AK-47 or something like that, and its upgraded version would be called AK-47 upgraded, and it's a rifle, and it's in the box, so we're all good there. Doesn't really matter what the price is. But let's say we had our AK-47 here and we removed everything here. So let's say we had it come down to, we only have the MP40, PPSH, and the crossbow. So I have these in order, so I'm going to go all the way down to MP40. We're going to remove those. PPSH, crossbow, and I don't believe I had anything below that. Oh, we do crossbow. Okay. So I kept everything up till the bottom here. So all those are in my file. So let's say we added our AK-47. You can copy one of these lines and you want to put AK-47, and then this variable I have written here, if you guys get a little more confused and want to read into this, it's a dual wield variable. It's rather true or false, and it's whether or not the weapon is dual wield. So since this is an AK-47, it's not dual wield, so I have false. But in the case of the dual wield crossbow, we have the crossbow here and it's set to true, and that's so that when you spin the box, the script knows, oh, okay, so this is a dual wield weapon, I should display 2 world models instead of just 1, so that you know visually that it's a dual wield weapon. But in this case, AK-47 is not dual wield, so we have it as false. And that's it. You don't need to touch anything else. All the weapons that you want to add, just create a new line and just put in the weapon name. This is the same name that you would have for if you were to do give and then your weapon, for those of you who know the console commands. So there we go. That's going to be it for the client box script for setting it up in this file. What you're going to want to do is save that file into your map folder, and then so when you bring up your map folder, like I right clicked and went map folder, it'll open you right to this. You want to go to scripts, ZM, and just drag it right into here, so you'll notice I have it right here. Then what you're going to want to do is open up your map name GSC, so that'll be ZM underscore your map name dot GSC. So open that up, and then you're going to be seeing something like this. So what you're going to want to do, oh wait, no, you want to open up the CSC file, sorry, not the GSC, open up CSC, so the client script, because this is on client side. So then what you're going to want to do is we're going to add in this line here. I'm going to have it down in the description below if you just want to copy and paste it in, but it'll be scripts, ZM, and then ZM, underscore ZM underscore client box. Don't forget the first underscore there, because I'm keeping the convention that Treyarch likes to keep. So we got that, and then we also want to add in, after our wait for client 0, we will add in this line here, which is ZM underscore client box colon init, and then open close parentheses and then a semicolon. So the reason why I don't have an underscore at the beginning of this one is because I named it, actually it's not even in this file. The version that you will have namespace, and then I called it ZM client box, and that's why it doesn't have an underscore, because I had it there. So just ignore the fact that we don't have an underscore here, but we do have an underscore here. So that's all good. So now that our script is calling the client box script, we also need to go and put it into the zone file. So like we did before, edit zone file, and we've already added this line in earlier, but you're also going to want to add in this line. So I basically just copy and pasted one of the lines here, scriptparsetree, comma, and then the directory to the file. So it's scripts/zm/_ because this is the file, not the namespace, _zm _ client_box.csc. All these lines will be included in the description below. In fact, I'll probably have a README file with all of them. So there we go. That's going to be it. Now the client box script should be running. If you just link your map and then run, you should be all good. So now what we should have is a box that has the weapons that you chose to be in it, so you can remove the weapons that you don't want. So you didn't want a thunder gun or a Tesla gun, you can remove those manually, but you got to remove it both out of the game data file and as well as our client box script. And you can put whatever one's in, and I'd suggest you match the two up so that it makes sense that the spinning weapons are the same as the weapons that are given to you in the box. Okay, so now we have box weapons done. We're going to be moving over to the next part, which is going to be wall weapons. So I'll see you guys in the next tutorial for that. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.